Okay, let's unpack this. If you're a creator, maybe listening in 2025, you probably know the feeling I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
That relentless pressure,
Yeah.
you know, always having to churn out high-quality stuff. It really does feel like being stuck on a content hamster wheel, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. We looked at the material you shared, and yeah, it paints such a vivid picture of that. Like, it's 2 a.m., you're staring at the screen.
The blank screen.
Right. The ideas might be there somewhere, but actually doing it. The text actually called it climbing Mount Everest after a marathon.
Huh. Yeah, that sounds about right. Exhausting.
Just thinking about it.
And you're trying to manage all these different platforms.
Yeah.
The research we saw suggests, what, 3 to 5 platforms consistently to really make an impact?
Yeah, that's what it pointed to. Blogs, social, video, maybe podcasts, newsletters, graphics. It's a lot to juggle.
It really is. And the sheer time involved,
Yeah.
that's staggering. There was a report mentioned, right, saying creators spend, what was it?
Somewhere between 60 and 70% of their working time just on the production.
Wow, 60 to 70%.
Think about that. It leaves so little room for, the strategy part or talking to your audience or actually building the business. It's definitely what people are calling the time trap.
And that trap, it leads straight into this awful quality versus quantity problem.
Mm-hmm.
The algorithms, they seem to want constant posts, right? Just keep feeding the machine.
Yeah.
But your audience, they want stuff that's actually good, meaningful.
Exactly. So you're caught.
Yeah.
Trying to produce more so people see you, but also trying to maintain quality so they actually stick around.
Yeah. It's a recipe for, well, creative burnout, basically.
Precisely. And you can see how that pressure day in, day out could just drain your creative energy. It becomes unsustainable. And yeah, lots of creators are feeling that burnout intensely right now.
Okay, so what if there was a way out? A way to, like, step off that treadmill? What if there's this secret weapon, as the material kind of hinted?
Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today. We've gone through the material you sent over to really explore how artificial intelligence, AI, is actually being used right now to revolutionize things for busy creators like you.
Helping reclaim time, sanity,
Yeah.
maybe even the joy in creating.
Yeah, exactly. Helping you get back time, creative energy, sanity, all of it. We're pulling insights straight from the text we reviewed to see how this transformation is actually happening.
What's interesting right off the bat is how the material makes it super clear. This isn't AI replacing humans.
Not at all. That's a key point. It's framed as amplifying creativity. Think of it like having the most efficient, tireless assistant you could imagine.
Okay, I like that framing. An amplifier.
And it fundamentally changes the process. Traditionally, creating content is very linear.
Right. Idea, then research, then outline, write, edit, publish, one step after another.
Exactly. And if one step gets stuck,
The whole thing grinds to a halt. Yeah.
but the shift we're seeing with AI, based on this research, is it turns that into more of a parallel process.
Parallel. How so?
Well, instead of waiting for step 1 to finish before starting step 2, you can have AI working on several things kind of at the same time.
Okay.
Like, it can help brainstorm ideas by looking at trends in your niche. It can pull together research that used to take hours, literally hours, and synthesize it in minutes.
Wow.
It can help draft detailed outlines based on just a few prompts from you. And then, the big one, it can take one core piece of content, say a script or an article, and immediately start spinning it out into different formats.
Like blog posts, social media snippets, emails.
Video scripts, yeah, all those things you need. And it can help with polishing, too, suggesting edits, checking for SEO, maybe even giving ideas for boosting engagement based on data.
So this leads to what the material called the multiplication effect.
Yes, and this is where it gets really, really interesting for creators. The idea is, with AI helping out, 1 hour of your focused human creative input.
Your core idea, your unique angle.
Exactly. That 1 hour can generate the equivalent output of what might have taken you, say, 8 to 10 hours of pure manual work before.
8 to 10 hours back from 1 hour. That's huge.
It's huge. And it's not about cutting corners on quality. It's about letting the tech handle the repetitive stuff, the time-consuming mechanics, so you can focus on the high-value creative work.
Okay, let's get practical then. How does this actually look day to day for someone creating content? The material broke down some specific areas, right?
It did. It starts right at the beginning with idea generation and planning. tackling that dreaded blank page.
Yeah, the worst.
AI tools can analyze current trends, suggest angles you hadn't thought of based on what's actually performing well, or even do a content gap analysis showing you what people are searching for in your area that you haven't covered.
That's useful. Kind of points you where the demand is.
Exactly. And helps with planning, too. Flagging opportunities for seasonal stuff or timely content tied to current events, making sure you're relevant.
Okay. And then the research phase.
Yeah,
You mentioned that used to be a time sink.
a massive one. AI can just pull info from tons of sources incredibly fast, help verify data points, summarize complex stuff much quicker than doing it all by hand.
And then the repurposing. You mentioned taking one idea and spinning it out. That seems like a major efficiency gain.
It really is. The material gave specific examples, like taking a quick voice memo you recorded and having AI structure it into a blog post draft,
Oh, interesting.
or generating weeks' worth of social media updates from just one long article, drafting email newsletters quickly, scripting videos for different platforms, YouTube versus TikTok versus Reels, all based on maybe one core piece of content.
So it understands the different formats needed.
Good AI tools do, yeah. They can adapt the tone and length. It can even help develop bigger things like course content, suggesting lesson structures, drafting assignments, finding supplementary materials.
And then even after the main creation part is done.
Yeah, AI is still useful. For copy editing, grammar checks, finding SEO keywords you might have missed, suggesting tweaks based on how similar content performed in the past.
Okay, this all sounds really powerful in theory, but does it work in practice? You mentioned a case study.
Yes, the material included one about a lifestyle coach named Sarah. They called her the 10X content creator after she adopted AI.
Right, Sarah. Okay, tell me about her. What was her situation before AI?
Pretty intense. She was spending, get this, 35 hours a week just on content production.
35 hours just making stuff.
Yep. And for that time, she was managing to get out one blog post, maybe 5 to 7 social posts, and one email newsletter each week. And apparently, even that wasn't always consistent.
Wow. That's basically a full-time job just producing that amount. No wonder people burn out.
Exactly. It was a huge drain. So she strategically implemented some AI tools into her workflow. And afterwards,
Oh, happened. Big change.
huge change. Her content creation time dropped from 35 hours a week down to just 7 hours.
7 from 35. That's incredible. That's like getting a whole work week back.
Pretty much. And the crucial part is, what was she producing in those 7 hours?
More, I assume.
Significantly more. She was now putting out 2-3 blog posts per week, between 20 and 25 social media posts, and 2 email newsletters.
Whoa. So way more output in way less time.
And importantly, she achieved consistent daily posting across her platforms, which the case study linked to a measurable 15% increase in her audience engagement rates.
Okay, that's the proof right there. It's not just about speed, it's about impact too. More content, better engagement, and she got 28 hours of her week back.
That's the multiplication effect in action. It really shows how it's not just about saving time, it's about freeing you up to maybe do better work, be more consistent, and probably feel a lot less stressed and more enthusiastic about it.
Absolutely. Okay, so for someone listening thinking, all right, I'm intrigued, but this sounds complicated. Where do I even begin? Does the material offer guidance on choosing tools?
It does. It stresses that, it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. You need to find tools that fit your specific workflow and what you're trying to achieve.
Makes sense.
There are the big general AI models like GPT-4 or Claude that are good all-rounders. Then you have more specialized writing assistants, AI tools just for creating images like Midjourney or Delay, tools focused specifically on video or audio like Synthesia or Murph.
Right, different tools for different jobs.
Right. And then there's this interesting category emerging kind of all-in-one platforms.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, the material specifically mentioned one called AI Course Creator as an example.
Yeah.
What's interesting about platforms like that is they can take a single, maybe unstructured input, like you just upload a recording of a webinar you did, or even just an audio file.
Okay.
And it helps you transform that raw material into a complete structured online course. It can generate outlines, draft the lesson content, suggest activities, basically taking potentially hundreds of hours of traditional course development and condensing it significantly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like a huge deal for anyone creating educational content or online courses.
It really could be. And beyond just picking the tools, the material emphasizes integrating them, Making sure they work with the systems you already use, your website platform, your social scheduler, your email marketing tool.
So it fits into your existing process rather than being a totally separate thing.
Ideally, yes. Once you get comfortable with the basics, the material talks about moving to more advanced strategies, like setting up automated workflows for repurposing content.
Okay, that sounds like where you really unlock that multiplication effect consistently.
Exactly. You create one really good core piece, maybe it's a detailed video or an in-depth article, and you set up AI to automatically say, generate a blog summary from it, pull out key quotes for social media, draft an email promoting it, maybe even outline an infographic based on the main points.
All from that one initial effort.
All from that one source. You can also use AI to tailor content more easily for different parts of your audience.
Right, like adapting the same core message, but maybe tweaking the language for beginners versus advanced users.
Precisely. Or for different customer types if you're selling something. And looking further ahead, maybe even using AI for predictive planning, analyzing your past results to suggest what topics or formats are likely to hit home with your audience next.
Okay, that's pretty advanced stuff. Now, it's totally understandable that creators might have some hesitations about all this, fears maybe.
For sure. And the material addresses the common ones directly. Probably the biggest fear is, will using AI make my content sound boring or generic? Will I lose my unique voice?
Yeah, that's a big one. What's the take on that?
The clear message is, AI is there to amplify your voice, not replace it. You use it as a starting point, maybe a first draft generator. But you are the one who adds your personality, your stories, your unique perspective. You maintain full editorial control.
So you still have to put your stamp on it.
Absolutely. And you can often train AI tools to some extent to learn and adopt your specific style over time.
Okay, what about authenticity? Does using AI feel less authentic?
That's another valid concern. The material suggests, thinking about it this way, authenticity comes from your genuine ideas, your experiences, your unique way of seeing things, not necessarily from the tool you use to type it out or structure it.
Interesting point.
AI handles the mechanics, the heavy lifting, so you can actually focus more energy on connecting authentically with your audience and sharing what makes you unique.
And the ethical side. Is it okay to use AI?
The material frames AI as just another powerful tool, like using a good camera or editing software. The value you provide comes from your knowledge, your message, how you serve your audience, not the specific method used for drafting or formatting. And many creators are finding it helpful to just be transparent about using AI tools. Audiences often appreciate it if it means getting more consistent, valuable content.
Right. So looking ahead then, where is this all going?
Well, AI capabilities are only going to get better, right? Deeper understanding of context, maybe real-time optimization of content based on how people are engaging with it, smoother integration between different tools and platforms, probably even more personalization.
Seems like it's moving fast. For someone wanting to dip their toes in now, the material had a kind of roadmap, didn't it?
Yeah, a practical, phased approach, like week 1. Just look at your current process. Where are the biggest pain points? Where do you spend the most time?
Okay, self-assessment first.
Week 2. Pick just 1 or 2 AI tools that seem like they could help with those specific pain points. Don't try to boil the ocean.
Start small. Makes sense.
Week 3. Start using them on a small scale, maybe for outlining one blog post or drafting some social media updates. Test it out, see how it feels.
Experiment.
Week 4. Look at the results. Did it save time? Was the quality okay? Start optimizing your workflow, and then ongoing. Just keep learning, keep refining how you use these tools. It's a continuous process.
And you need to track if it's actually working, right?
Yeah.
Measure the impact.
Definitely. The material suggests looking at a few key performance indicators, or KPIs. Things like efficiency, how much time are you actually saving? How much more are you producing per hour? Quality, are your engagement rates improving? Is website traffic going up? And ultimately, business impact, is this leading to more subscribers, more leads, more revenue, whatever your goals are.
So measure what matters. What are the pitfalls? Things creators should definitely try to avoid when using AI.
Yeah, the material highlighted a few common traps. A big one is over-reliance, just hitting generate and publishing without reviewing, editing, or adding your own voice. That leads to generic content.
Okay, human oversight is crucial.
Absolutely. Another is ending up with an inconsistent brand voice because you didn't guide the AI or fine-tune the output to match your style.
Right, got to keep it sounding like you.
Also, ignoring platform differences. You can't just copy and paste the same AI output everywhere. A blog post is different from a TikTok script.
Needs adaptation.
And finally, focusing only on quantity. just churning out tons of mediocre stuff because you can. You still need to provide real value. Quality still matters most.
Avoid those traps, though, and the potential seems huge. The material also talked about a competitive advantage for early adopters, right?
Yes, definitely. Those who start experimenting and integrating AI now stand to gain a real edge. They'll likely achieve higher content volume and consistency over competitors who are slower to adapt.
They can react faster to trends.
Respond faster to market shifts, yeah. They can allocate their own time, their most valuable resource, more strategically, and crucially, they get a head start on that learning curve. Figuring out how to use these tools effectively takes time, and those who start now will be way ahead later.
So, summing this all up, this secret weapon isn't really secret anymore, is it? AI is here, it's available now.
Pretty much. The creators who are successfully navigating this landscape in 2025 are likely already using it in some capacity.
So the core message from the material seems to be, it's less about if you should use AI, and more about how you can start experimenting strategically.
Exactly. How strategically and how quickly can you begin figuring out how it fits into your workflow? It really has the potential to shift the whole focus away from just the labor of production.
And back towards your unique ideas, connecting with your audience.
And building a sustainable business around your content.
Yeah, it's about enabling you, the creator, to produce more valuable content, serve your audience better, build that business, and maybe, just maybe, work a bit less and stress a whole lot less.
That's the promise. The future of content creation, based on everything we've looked at, really involves embracing AI strategically to unlock that multiplication effect we talked about.
Right. So here's a thought to leave you with. Drawing from that impactful conclusion in the material, looking at your own content creation process right now, what's the single biggest bottleneck, the single part of it, that could potentially benefit the most from exploring an AI assistant, maybe even starting this week?